Hello YouTube, this is Ty the Movie Guy 22 with another fantastic chapter 8 of Forest of the Forsaken. So, sorry there was no video last week. I had trouble with my camera and now I'm learning how to use it better. So, last we left off, Tyler and Quinn had just kissed, which was very sweet. I was gonna have it happen later, but I just feel like I didn't want to draw it out too much, like drag it along. Because a lot of people would probably be like, okay, just get on with it, you two. Kind of like with Edward and Bella from Twilight, except both my characters are actually written well. No offense, Stephanie Meyer, you're a great author. I did love your movies. I did love the movies. But, okay, so this one's a little bit more in-depth, and an in-depth look into Cynthia's, but not Cynthia. I'm going to save Dr. Sylvia's chapter for next week, or Wednesday. So this chapter, chapter 8, entitled Citadel of Gluttony. So now, second Citadel. So now, on with our show, on with our daily program, or weekly. So it starts out with Tyler. I had just woken up next to Quinn again. It was like clockwork. Woke up every morning as the sun began to rise. Looked at her, gazed at her lovingly and longingly, and we both said good morning. Good morning, Quinn. Good morning. It's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. And like clockwork, Dylan showed up. Hey, brother. Hello, Dylan. How can I help you? I see you're with your girlfriend now, maybe? Yes, my official girlfriend, Quinn. I feel so lucky to be able to call you that, honestly. She smiled and gave me a peck on the cheek. Right back at you. She's like, right back at you, hun. She's like, right back at you, honey. I'm like, aw, you called me honey. I was super sweet. I'm like, where do we go from here? I don't know. Where do you want it to go from here? She gave me a side-eyed glance and a coy smile. And I said, decisions. And we both laughed. Hey, what are you two laughing at? Dylan exclaimed. Oh, nothing. Are you two gonna... Oh, God, no. Not with you in the room. What do you think we are, dummies? Do you really want me to answer that? Says the boy who can't even write his own name correctly in the books. Hey, you know I have trouble. I know. Leah can write better than you. Oh, could she? Yes, I can. But I choose not to. What are you two? She's like, Quinn looks at her. What are you two doing in here? Can't we just... He's like, what are you... She asked playfully, what are you two doing in here? Do you need advice on something? Leah's like, do you need advice, big sister? On what? Dating? No, yeah, kind of. Dylan exclaimed, I wasn't asking you, you fool. I was asking my little sister. Well, do you? I think I got it here, Leah. Well, how's he been treating you? He treats me really well. And he is amazing. In what ways? I had asked her, she's like, you don't have to answer that. If you're wondering what's happened between us, nothing. We just kissed. Aw. She gave Dylan a kiss on the forehead. He's like, what was that for? She's like, because I love you. I love you too. I had quickly gotten dressed. I had quickly washed my hair and gotten dressed. And then so did Quinn. And we both got ready for the day ahead. I looked at Dylan. And suddenly, dun dun dun, Gregory appeared behind me. Nice block. Is it nice block? I learned from one of the best. Why, thank you. I was referring to me. Well, aren't you a little bit egotistical? Yes, slightly though. Only slightly. Well, let's see what you can do about this. And I grab his arm and toss him to the ground. Beginner's luck, Tyler. He had smiled and smirked. I help him up. Him and Dylan looked at each other. Dylan was like, ugh, Greg. Ah, Dylan. Won't you two ever get along? There is no getting along with him. They both said at the same time. Oh, well. You two will become friends eventually. We'll see about that, Dylan had exclaimed again. This time in a bit of a huff. Yeah, we'll see. I had finally... So, any luck finding another citadel? Not yet. Sorry, guys. Not yet. We haven't found it yet, but we're still looking. Why does his citadels have different names? Because he's a demented freak. And that's putting it nicely. Indeed. And needing to tell you something. What is it? I've been having dreams. Of Quinn? No, not of Quinn. Oh, a little bit, but that's besides the point. I think I'm experiencing memory regression. I think I'm starting to remember stuff. Like what? Greg had heard me, and Greg had heard me with intent, and he said, "What do you remember, my friend?" Were we involved with the avalanche serum? You remember? I don't remember much, but I remember that. What else do you remember? Schroeder. What about Schroeder? Sorry, guys. What about Schroeder? I think he was the one responsible for Mikhail's disappearance. I always wonder what happened to Mikhail. It happened so suddenly. Suddenly he was kicked out of our program unit. Wasn't that Operation Avalanche? I can't believe you remember that. What about Dr. Michaels? What about your mom? So what about your mom? I want to know if she's still alive. She is alive, yes. Very much so. Your mother is not a very easy person to defeat. She's far from easy to defeat. I can tell with your abilities that you've gotten from the serum. Yeah. You may only have a fraction of her powers, but still very much a threat. Once you learn how to control it. I wish I could control it. I know you can. It will be hard. Sorry guys, but you will pull through. Will I be able to turn into a lumen angel? There hasn't been a lumen angel in 4,000 years. Wait, the company's been around for 4,000 years? Yes. Wow, that's a long time. No shit. Yeah. Totally. I suddenly bend to the ground. I suddenly get down on one knee to the ground. And I ask for help from the man upstairs. Of course, God. I asked for help from God. I asked him for help to give me guidance. And I have not received, and I feel I will receive an answer soon. Wasn't there a special, correct me if I'm wrong, Craig, but wasn't there a special program for people like us? Like for the Lumen program? The Fallen Lumen Project. My God, how can you remember this stuff? You were only 6 when your mom... So you were only 6 when you found out about this stuff. How old are we exactly? You've been asleep since you were 6. It's like you've been asleep since you were 6. And that was in 2014. It's now 2038. Or 2030. You're roughly 18 to 19 years old. So you're roughly in your 20s. You're roughly in your 20s. Early, mid, or late? Mid-20s. Is it mid-20s? What about you? Mid-30s. He joked and said, I'm like, wow, you look great. I'm kidding, I'm in my 20s too. Dylan is supposedly in his 20s, but I think he's still 17 or 18. Well, that's quite interesting as well. Yes. We had finally found one of his citadels. Suddenly, Greg's beeper went off. Not beeper. His device had started beeping, and he found the location of a second citadel. The Citadel of Gluttony. And we had found it. Although it looked like it was completely empty. Sorry guys. Even though we found it completely empty at first. We had left in the morning to go find it, and appeared and doubled back. And it was only at night that we discover forest really was called the Forsaken. We had started to see, it looked like we had geared up, and it looked like we had started to see the ghosts of the people that were haunting and were killed with regret. And we looked, and it was terrifying. And then, all of a sudden, it happened. My eyes lit up, and I started to freak. Not freak. Dylan's like, what in the world? What's happening? We're seeing so many things. This is Morris's idea to keep people away. It's all being controlled by a computer. I summon my energy and slam my fist into the ground, destroying the system that created the spirits. But little did I realize this was starting to all be real, and I found myself at a crossroads. Before the mission started, I told Quinn that I worry about her doing these missions. She said to me, "I'm okay, honey. Trust me. You're my boyfriend now, and you need to know that I can protect myself. My father did not raise a weak child. I know that. I love you. I'm lucky. And I want you to know that no matter what happens, I'll always be by your side." We kissed passionately, and we hugged. I said, "When this war is over, we will be free to do what we want." And we got ready and prepared for a battle unlike anything we had seen before. I had started battle soldiers, and they said, "Freeze, stay where you are." I'm like, how about a better option? We take you down. A brawl ensued, and all of us fired our weaponry and used our fist and other things we could. Greg had managed to beat most of the soldiers with just one kinetic blast. And then, suddenly, a new foe had appeared. It was Morris's elite. Oh my god. Greg's like, "What is it?" I'm like, "Look." "What?" "Look, damn it." And it was Reginald Crandall. Reginald Crandall? He was Mason's teacher. Mason, as in Mason Schroeder? Yes. Hello. Hello. Tyler, Dylan, and Greg. You have all trained well, but it will not be enough to kill me. We don't intend to kill you. We intend to break you and to you to give us information. Well, that won't happen. We prepared, and Quinn shot an arrow so fast it whizzed by, and it pierced part of his ear. Ah! Wretched Donaldson girl, you are brat. Tell me something I don't know. And she fired again, hitting him in the knee. Ah! Dylan and I prepared. And so did Greg. Leah, Quinn, get back now. His power is uncontrollable this time around. And we all formed a circle. And she told me to be careful. I'm so sorry, guys. She told us to be careful. And we did. And Quinn and I made it safely. I made sure Quinn made it safely out of this conflict. And suddenly, we had started fighting with him. And we had started fighting Reginald on our own. And we had punched, kicked, and blasted him with as much energy as we can. But nothing seemed to work. This is hopeless. It's not hopeless, Dylan. We can beat him. We've beaten him before. We can do it again. Greg looked at him. He's right. He's right. We can beat him again. We just need to focus and trust each other. We calmed our minds and quieted our minds. We calmed and quieted our minds. And we did our unification blast. We overloaded his circuit that he was wearing as a power amplifier. We had overloaded it and broke it in front of him. And it crushed him instantly. Now tell us what you know. No, I will not. Dylan punched him and Greg kicked him in the groin. Now will you tell us? No. Quinn came by, Leah came by and stabbed him in the knee. Oh, fine, I will tell you something. It better be useful information, Buster. It is. You're all going to lose. Suddenly, I look up from the helicopter. Well. Isn't it a surprise to see all three of you together? And we had looked. Mason? I never thought you turned evil. Come now, did you really think I was an innocent boy? Well, that was your fault. I had suddenly looked. I said, Mason, did our friendship mean nothing? I remember that we were friends at one point as children. Tyler. Sweet, innocent, buffoonery Tyler. You really think that friendship meant anything to me? I lied. He tapped the knife on his leg. Armed in a battle suit. He was one of the de facto leaders of the Fallen Angel unit. He said, come and find me once you've settled this debacle. I will not fight you. You'll fight me. But it won't be a real fight for now. You coward! Fight me now if you want. Too bad for you. You won't make it out of this alive. Even if you do. To kill my father, you have to go through me. And I assure you, that won't happen. I'll kill you if I have no other choice. You were my friend. And now you've turned evil. You allowed your soul to be wicked and corrupted. So you say. Well, let's settle this. Come and find me in 1 hour. Come and find me soon if you dare. Stay where you belong in my memories as my old friend. He suddenly appeared. He suddenly vanished and then appeared before me. He whispered in my ear, I will never be a memory of yours. And suddenly, he vanished again. Dylan's like, damn, he's like a whack-a-mole. Indeed. We took the citadel, lit it on fire, and brought everyone up to speed on what happened. I had looked and suddenly the traitor was there. And I jumped after him and we fought for a second. And he said, I have no time to fight you yet. But it looks like you must be out of time. For you're too late to stop the citadel from exploding. Everybody down! We jumped down and I protected Quinn and I held her hand tightly and the flame passed through us safely. Like it wasn't even heading towards us, and we jumped and we got out of there. Looks like they destroyed one of our citadels before we could. Damn it, we could have really used the space. I know. We left to retreat for now because we knew we couldn't survive an onslaught that was coming. Quinn and I slept peacefully, stepped into our rooms peacefully, and I told her, this is getting out of hand. I know, it's getting out of hand, but I can handle it. I breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. I know you can. What do you want our future to be? She asked of me. And I said, what do you want it to entail? I smiled. We both smiled. I'm like, we have known each other for a few months now because we've been in the village for 5 months preparing and everything. So she looked at me and I told her, there's something I had in my back pocket that I was thinking of. And what's that? Eventually, marriage. She beamed and turned around to close her eyes because she was so giddy. She said, most definitely. And what about a little one of us running around? I said, that would be fantastic. And we kissed, and I said, but not now. Once everything is over, you and I will settle down. And I will make sure that we were at peace together. She had smiled and said, tell everyone the good news. What? What's the good news? I'm like, are we gonna? No, not yet. Not yet, honey. She kissed my hand and she said, I have the antidote ready. So now we can start training the others. I smiled and wrapped my arms around her in a loving embrace. End of chapter 8. Okay guys, that was so great, and I'll be back Wednesday for chapter 9 of Forest of the Forsaken. Thank you for watching these videos, and please subscribe and comment for more. Enjoy!